So without further ado, let me get connected to you. For those of you, oh, that look at me, I'm a poet. I didn't even know it. For those of you that are new here, I am Nancy from Nancy Inspired, and I have a gift that I call soul telepathy, where I am able to hear what your soul is trying to tell you. And it gets mystical sometimes because when I'm doing like individual readings and whatnot, sometimes I hear things from your past or things that are going on that I wouldn't know. So this isn't me telling you the wisdom for the week. This is what I'm hearing from you, but then also tapping into that higher power, that collective consciousness, that divine wisdom. So that's what I do. So I do individuals, but when I do stuff like this, I tap into the group that's here listening now, as well as the group that will come and listen as we progress. Usually we start out with like 20, 30 people, and then by the end, last time we got to 200, and I was so thrilled. So that was really exciting. How it works is I usually do the first 45, 50 minutes is collective wisdom. And then after the collective wisdom, I tap into individuals. Is there anything that different people need to hear? So I'll ask people to kind of put their names forth at that time. Oh, I just moved my my notebook. I'll have to run and grab my notebook. Also back there. Because I write down people's names so that I don't miss people. And so that allows me then to tap into individuals. I've had a couple people reach out to me, how do you get a actual reading from me? I don't want to advertise because I do want to honor Insight Timer's platform, but I am easy to find, Nancy Inspired, and I do have a web designer that is right now on my little bubble named Mercedes. So that's a little hint as to how you can find me to schedule individual readings. But I do want to honor Insight Timer's platform, and that this isn't a place to advertise. This isn't a place to upsell. This isn't a place to go, hey, come find me here and do this. But I have had a couple of requests, which is why I'm bringing that up, that if you are wanting to know more, you are welcome to check out the links in my bio, my Insight Timer bio. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I've already cleared myself. I do use a pendulum when I'm connecting and whatnot. It just helps move the energy through me. The wisdom to me, it comes in from my inner right side, my upper right side, and it comes through my body. I hold the pendulum just to allow the energy to keep moving through me. Otherwise, I don't want it to get stuck anywhere. So that I can just move through. But I also use it to help clear and prepare. So I'm going to connect to all of you. So, all right, I'm going to ask, can I, may, and shall I do a collective reading for my Insight Timer friends and family, as well as individual readings at the end, both for those that are listening now and those that come later on? And I'm getting a very clear yes. Then I always ask, is there any reason why I shouldn't do this at this moment in time? And you can see the pendulum's already changing direction, and now it's spinning the opposite way. That means no, there's no reason why I shouldn't. Then I ask that everyone's intuition be raised to the highest level that they can accommodate with at this moment in time. You can see the pendulums switching directions once again. Ask everyone's intuition to be raised to the highest level that they can accommodate with at this moment in time. Allow their souls to speak freely and clearly for everyone's highest and best good, and allow me to hear clearly what messaging needs to be said for everyone's highest and best good. All right, here we go. There we go. Oh, thank you, Jamie. I do honor this platform because that's one of the things I love about Insight Timer is that I know I can log into any live, I can log into anything, and I'm not going to be upsold. And granted, everybody needs to be paid for their work, and I honor, and especially like when people give me donations and whatnot, I appreciate that to the ends of the earth, right? But I do want to honor that. And so if people are interested, please message me, ask, we can do that. But we can, I do want to honor that platform. So, Melinda, thank you. I actually got them at a thrift store the other day, and they're really nice and light and make me feel like I should do some head bobs. All right, here we go. Let me tap into, okay. All right, the first bit of earrings that I'm hearing are earrings. I just sorry, got distracted. I read the word earrings as I was about. The first bit of messaging that I am hearing is about energy. So just a second, let me just hear. All right, so the first bit of messaging is about energy. And I know that everybody has heard this before, and if you haven't heard this before, I'll share it with you. Absolutely everything is made of energy. Everything that seems like it has, solid matter is actually energy. Atoms are protons, electrons, all those things. I'm not a scientist, but absolutely everything is broken down into energy. And so every single thing vibrates at a certain kind of frequency. So I'm hearing to tell you a story. I'm not sure why this is important, but I'll start with the story and then the messaging will come because that's how it works. I always listen. So it's funny because I'm showing you the pendulum, and this is what I use as the energy is moving through me. Well, when I first started working with my mentor, my teacher, she was the one that showed me pendulum work. And some people use pendulums for like yes no questions or trying to almost divine things like what's happening in your body and whatnot. For me, it's simply a movement of energy. It's moving the energy through my body. So people use pendulums in different ways. However, when I first started using the pendulum, um, it was like I said through my mentor teacher, and she wanted to give me a gift, and so we went shopping and bought my first pendulum, which by the way is this one. I still have the same one that was like 12 years ago. I just cleanse it every once in a while in moonlight. And I've bought many throughout the years, and I keep giving them away. They're always like, "Oh, this one's for you." Anyway, when I went to the store that sold pendulums, she said, "Just put your hands underneath and see which one starts to move." And I put my hands underneath, and almost all of them started moving. And the lady at the desk or the counter kind of came over, and she was like, "Have you done this before?" And I'm like, "No, I'm new to this." And so, we kind of discerned, which one, but it made me really, really aware of energy and, the energy in our hands. Even when you like hold it like this, and you can feel the energy between your hands. So why is this important? Okay, that's simple. What I'm hearing is the reason why this is important is because we need to be aware of our energy, where we are focusing our energy. So we are constantly giving off energy. We are constantly giving off vibration. And you've heard the phrase, I'm sure, where focus goes, energy flows. And so what I'm hearing is to be really aware of your thoughts this week, really aware of where your thoughts go to. Are you thinking of scarcity? Are you thinking of the things you don't have versus the things that you can celebrate? Are you thinking of goals and future, what you'd like in terms of what you don't have yet, or from that position of being sort of hard on yourself? Or are you thinking of it more in terms of where you want to go? So I'm hearing to be very aware of the fact that everything is energy, and where we're focusing our attention and energy magnifies itself, is what I'm hearing. So for example, if you're focusing on abundance, but it's coming from a place of acknowledging the lack, then you're actually counterproductive, because you're actually drawing energy towards the lack as opposed to the abundance. Now, easier said than done, right? I know that's something I struggle with, but that's what I'm hearing this week is as the first bit of messaging is be aware that everything is energy, and what we focus our attention on is the thing that grows, is the thing that we magnify. So be aware of where your thoughts are wandering. And when your thoughts are wandering to places that you don't want magnified, just do a shift. Maybe it's actually rephrasing something. Maybe it's saying it in a different way. One of the things that I learned, actually, it was on an Insight Timer platform, where it was an abundance course that I was going through. And it talked about if you have trouble saying things in the positive present tense, because it's not actually true yet, to do like kind of have that yet mindset. Like I am making choices to create abundance in my life. I am making choices to develop a healthy growth mindset. I am making choices, so it's still in the positive present tense, but it's a little easier sometimes if it's not exactly your current reality. Anyway, that's what I am hearing, is to be aware of energy, and that where your focus and mindset is situated is the place that will draw the most attention and energy from the universe. Anything else on that? All right, that's all I'm hearing, is to be aware of energy. Okay, I'm going to take a drink of water because I'm thirsty. I find sometimes more and more, the more tapped in I am to this gift and the energy that's around me, the more thirsty I am. The more I just constantly feel like I want to be cleansing. It's interesting. That, and I have absolutely no taste for alcohol. I tried to have a drink of a little liqueur of Grand Marnier last night, sitting around a fire, and I had like 2 sips, and I was like, oh, I've completely lost any taste for alcohol. The more I kind of sit in this presence and in this gift. So, all right, let me just tap in. Oh, I just saw Raquel. Thank you. This inspired me to cleanse with my pendulum right now. Wonderful. Well, you know what? Why don't I do a cleanse for everybody right now? Let's do that. Let me just, yeah, that's a good, I was just asking, is that where I'm supposed to go? And I just heard, yeah, that's where you're supposed to go. So let's do a little cleanse. So usually my cleanse is very, very simple. So, you don't have to stop what you're doing. You can even just keep doing what you're doing and just kind of tune into yourself. Or you can stop what you're doing, close your eyes, and really zone in. So I'm just going to do what I normally do with cleansing, and I just ask to cleanse, clear, and balance your heart, your mind, your body, and your spirit on all levels for your highest and best good. And what I visualize and imagine is this beautiful, divine white light that is spinning counterclockwise around you. And it's just this swirling, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful light. It feels like bliss and love and joy and everything magnificent. And as it swirls around you, it sort of cuts away. It's almost like a bit of a laser, and it sort of cuts away anything that doesn't serve you, anything that's sort of clinging on that doesn't need to be there. It also is kind of like an emotional lubricant. It's just like flushing everything away. I sort of imagine it as like, often when I'm doing readings and I do a clearing, I imagine it as like a pan with like burnt on cheese. As you're scrubbing it away, the chunks kind of go away and the water runs clear. So just imagine this beautiful, beautiful swirling white light, divine, gorgeous energy that's just swirling around you counterclockwise, pulling out everything that doesn't belong to you, and just cutting away anything that doesn't fit there. And we're going to cleanse, clear, and balance your heart, your mind, your body, and your spirit on all levels for your highest and best good. Oh, that just feels delicious. Let's try that again. Cleanse, clear, and balance your heart, your mind, your body, and your spirit on all levels for your highest and best good. All right, and the pendulum stops. That means we're done for today. The next thing I'd like to add when I do that, the pendulum swings clockwise, and it's just sort of filling up all of those spaces that we just cleared out. This is the true emotional lubricant, the energetic lubricant. It's like clearing everything away so that things can't come back and stick again. So we're just filling everything up with light and love and blessing. And I'm going to add joy, peace, harmony, clarity, wisdom, love, and light, and blessing. Just take some deep breaths in and just take in all that beautiful light and love and blessing, clarity, joy, and wisdom. Fill up all those spaces that were. Here we go. I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I did. That felt beautiful. I think a collective clearing is a lovely experience. Everyone just collectively drawing on that beautiful energy. All right. Feel free to put in that chat if that resonated with you. Oh, good. I'm glad you felt that. Fabulous. Me too. That felt really, really beautiful. That just means we're just in a divinely inspired group here. Okay, so let's just tap in. Okay, so what I am hearing is along the lines of clearing, is be conscious of what's muddling your energy. So if everything that we do is energy, if everything that we're paying attention to is kind of exaggerating the energy or making the energy grow, what I am hearing is be conscious of what you're taking in as energy as well. So what I'm hearing is things like social media can be very positive. You can learn some really fantastic things on social media, or it can drain your energy depending upon what you're listening to. Some people, fill your bucket, and other people drain your energy. Even conversations, even negative self-talk. I don't know what this means. Reflective practice. What is that? Oh, okay. So along the lines of negative self-talk, I just heard reflective practice, and I was like, I don't know what that is. But when you're I'm just asking for the words. When you're perceiving yourself as you think others perceive you, and so what that means is like, when you think that people are thinking negative thoughts about you, or that you think that people are making fun of you, or that they, don't think you're pretty enough, or whatever it is that's in your mind, that you feel you are reflecting in an adverse way. Be aware of that, and instead flip that around. So be aware of what you're. I think that's interesting. Reflective, negative, reflective. I've never really thought about that. Okay, reflective practice. That's interesting. So be aware of what you are paying attention to and what it does to your energy. And anytime that you're involved in situations that don't feel really great, take a moment to do a clearing and balancing exercise. I have one on my Insight Timer if you're interested in mine, but there are tons. If you go on Insight Timer and look for like cleansing meditations or breathing exercises, there's tons and tons and tons of them. I do have one on mine, which is cleansing, clearing, balancing, kind of similar to what I just did, but I add a protective bubble for our energy as well. But what I'm hearing is to be aware of what we're taking in, because it can have a serious adverse effect. So, okay, I'm going to share something with you because I'm hearing that that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm really, really working, as you know, many of you know, I'm working on boundary setting. We all have come to this earth with lessons to learn. We have come to this plane of existence at this period of time, in this body, in this incarnation, in this family, in this whatever we are, to learn whatever we need to learn. And mine, as I've shared many times, is boundary setting. I'm learning this lifetime to be really clear on boundary setting. And it's interesting because with this energy guarding thing that just came up, I actually had this today, as a matter of fact. So I was in a situation where, I don't want to get into too many details, but I was in a situation with somebody that is very difficult sometimes. And difficult for me anyway, sometimes. And I struggle with this person. But this person is part of my family, and I have to make efforts to work on this relationship for everybody's good. I've told myself to just, rather than getting upset, when things kind of go south, to just remove myself. And so that happened today. We were spending a little bit of time together, and as soon as things started to feel kind of toxic and this kind of energy coming up, I just very politely excused myself and said, okay, I'm going to get going now. I've got some things I got to take care of, and I left. And as soon as I got into my car, I just breathed, and I just pushed all of that energy that I was starting to absorb out. And it was interesting because I found that I didn't take it on. I didn't own it. It didn't affect me the way it normally does. So what I'm hearing is be aware of the energy that you're taking in. What are you listening to? What are you surrounding yourself with? What are you looking at? What are you watching? What are you internalizing? What are you thinking about? And be aware of how it affects your energy. And when you need to, do a little cleansing, clearing. A cleanse can just be as simple as taking some breaths. That's what I'm hearing. It's just one of my practices that I try to do is that when I have to wait for something, like if I'm warming something up in a microwave, or if I'm at a red light, or even photocopying the other day, I was photocopying something at work. It was taking a long time. I just breathe and I just become really conscious of my breath. And sometimes I breathe in for 4 and out for 4. Breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4. And, and I just become conscious of my breath. And so every time I'm waiting, and I have to sit there and wait anyway, I try to give myself that little bit of energetic clearing through my breath. So that's what I'm hearing is really important this week, is being aware that everything is energy, and what you focus on is where the energy is going to flow and go. And I also am hearing, be aware of what you take in as energy. What are you getting? What are you internalizing? What are you being affected by? And how can you navigate that? Vicky, what does that mean when I say that's what I'm hearing? Okay, so I don't know if you're here at the beginning when I was explaining what I do. And yes, box breathing is one of my favorite methods for cleansing and clearing. So I have a gift, what I call soul telepathy. And so the wisdom that I'm hearing and sharing is not me coming up with words. I'm channeling all of you and what the collective wisdom is for the group, as well as sometimes I get messaging from that divine source energy that's just positive, empowering life messages. So when I say that's what I'm hearing, it's because I'm getting specific wording or metaphors or examples, or sometimes I'm told, tell them this story because it relates to what we're doing. And so I'm getting guided. And so when I say that's what I'm hearing, it's because I'm getting information. It always comes in from my upper right side. When I first started learning to do this, or when I first started, I can't say learning to do this, when I first started understanding this gift, it used to come so fast that my face would freeze. I wouldn't be able to use my face, and I'd cry. Like tears would come out. I wouldn't be sad, but it was like this, like it was just so overwhelming. Like when you see something really beautiful and you just kind of start to cry. I do that when I hear kids singing. It was like that. Like it was just this absolutely divine, gorgeous energy that was just coming into me, and I'd kind of lose control of my face, and I'd cry. And then the mentor that I was working with, the teacher that I was working with, was teaching me to slow it down. And so then it started to come in what I call this light language. I don't like to use that anymore because that has a totally different connotation now. But it came in as little beads of light when I slowed it down. It was like little pearls of light that kind of just came into my brain. And as they kind of connected with my brain, for lack of a better word, then I'd see words, or I'd see pictures, or I'd see, or I'd hear or feel different messaging. And then as I became aware, I began to realize that I was actually hearing what people, with their own souls, were trying to tell them, mixed with that sort of higher self, divine messaging. So that is what I do in a nutshell. So when I say that's what I'm hearing, it's because I'm hearing specific wording and messaging, because sometimes I hear stuff and I don't totally know what it means, and then I have to decipher it. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, moving on to next messaging. And thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here and sharing your energy as well, because this is a collective reading. This is me tapping into all of you. Okay, so it's all about energy and what we take in. Okay, we're still on the topic of energy here, but I felt it in my stomach and even like digestive system, and to be honest, it doesn't feel super great all of a sudden. Feeling a little nauseous all of a sudden, but okay. So what I'm hearing is, whenever possible, be cognizant of what you are ingesting. Be cognizant of what you are taking in to your body. Now, some people have the practice. I know when I was at the yoga retreat, they really practice nonviolence and they're all vegan. For some people, that just does not resonate with you, and that is okay. I personally, it doesn't fully resonate with me. However, the teaching that actually, Vicky, it could be sometimes I tap into people, but no, I did feel this. So, what we have to be conscious of the energy that we're ingesting. Now, I'd love to have tons and tons of money and be able to buy, organic, happy, you know, free range meat if I was eating meat, or if I had the ability to hunt and actually get venison that's like, happy and lovely, because the energy that's in those animals' bodies are a lot better than maybe animals that have been in, a small coop or something like that. Now, I am not at all telling you to be vegetarian, although if you are, that's great. I'm not at all telling you not to eat meat. That's not what I'm saying. What I am hearing as the messaging is be aware of the energy of what you're ingesting. Now, not just what you're ingesting in terms of the actual substance, but how it was created. So what I'm hearing is that if you're like me and you're coming home from work and you have to cook dinner and you're like, oh, I gotta, and you're, you've now infused that food with this source of stress. I know people that love to cook, and when they cook, their food is absolutely divine. And it's because as they're cooking, they are just pouring their love of cooking and feeding people into their food, so you can feel it. So be aware of the energy that you're ingesting as food. The other thing that I'm hearing is, and I know I am bad for this one. This is totally, maybe I'm hijacking the reading right now, but as an educator, there's lots of times when I'm at work that I have 5 minutes to eat my lunch, and I'm eating while I'm working, and I'm and so again, I'm ingesting that stressful energy. I'm ingesting. So what I'm hearing is, whenever you can, be conscious of how you're cooking the food, how you're preparing the food, to infuse love into how you prepare that food. Infuse love and bliss and nourishment and positive energy into that food. It's like a magic hands whoosh, into that food. And then when you're eating it, to take it in and eat it with that sense of like divine bliss and nourishment that's coming in, right? And whenever possible, to oh my goodness, I just got some big messaging. Okay, whenever possible, to be aware of where your food is sourced. Where is it coming from? How's it been prepared? How's it got to you? Because all of that are little energetic bits along the way. They say the best food is food that you can grow yourself. Well, I live in Canada. We've got a short growing climate, short growing season. I'm not going to be able to get all the fresh, beautiful foods that I want all the time. So this is whenever possible, but just being aware. Oh, and I also just heard that you can also cleanse. You can cleanse your food. So yes, of course, washing your food. But just like we did a cleanse just now, and we connected to the energy, that cleansing energy, that you can actually cleanse some of the, hardship or stress or pain and suffering, whatever it is. You can actually cleanse that before you eat it. So to be aware and to be mindful of that. It's funny because it's interesting. When I first came on, I was telling you about my dream last night about me kind of meeting an alternate version of myself. And in that, she was very healthy, very vibrant. Well, I was very healthy, very vibrant, a healthy weight, very strong. And, in my understanding of myself in the dream, I don't know how to describe it, I had a better understanding of like how I became vibrant and healthy like that. And just now, as I was talking to you, that's one of the connections. So I'm sorry if I've hijacked this reading. I hope this is relevant for everybody else. But I realized that was one of the understandings that I came to, is that the way that this healthier, more vibrant version of myself became that way was they became much more cognizant about what they were eating and the energetic value of it, as well as what they were ingesting energetically. So I just got my own little bit of messaging there, and I hope it was valuable for everyone else. And if not, sorry. But it was valuable for me. Just tapping in. Melanie Underwood here on Insight Timer does mindful cooking classes. Fabulous. Okay, I'm going to look that up. Melanie Underwood. You know what? I'm going to grab my notebook because we're almost time. So give me a second. Hi, thanks. My cat's over on the chair over here too. Just said hi to him. Okay, sorry. Melanie Underwood. I'm going to look that up because this seems to be coming in. If anybody knows of anyone else, I'd be happy to tap in. See, that's why when I was explaining me doing this, it's not just me saying what I know. I'm channeling this information for myself as well. I always get lots out of these every week as well. And Jamie, thank you. I'm glad that this resonates. Awesome. And Melanie's mindful classes are magical. Okay. And Melinda, I'm glad it resonates for you too. So that's interesting. That's really interesting because yeah, in that dream, when I kind of became me, the other version of me, I had a lot of different understanding and I couldn't remember it. So when I was meditating afterwards, when I woke up, is I was just asking if I could, somehow become aware of the knowledge that this other version of myself had. And so maybe that was a little bit of a little switch flipped. All right. Just tapping in. What's the next bit of wisdom that is important for my Insight Timer friends and family right now? Okay. So again, it's kind of on the same topic of energy. This seems to be the hot topic today. All right. So what I'm hearing is not only that we need to be careful about what we're taking in terms of the negative stuff, right? In terms of like what things are not healthy for us to be taking in and what sort of toxic soups we shouldn't be swimming in. What I'm also hearing is that there are a lot of really fabulous learnings and teachings that are becoming more mainstream. At one point, way back when my very first yoga class was 28 years ago. My first yoga class. Yoga classes weren't really, they were harder to find. Now you can log in and find a yoga class or do it online or whatever. But at the time, it was hard to find. And there was just this sign upstairs above a grocery store that was yoga class. And I decided to go check it out, and I learned a lot, and it was really amazing and a magical experience. But I had to seek it out. Now there's so much information. So I'm hearing two things. One, I'm hearing that there's a lot of fantastic information out there to help elevate our vibrational frequencies. And I'm hearing that those are important. Those are important to share. What I'm hearing is that there's a number of you here that have knowledge, that have wisdom, that have practices that help to elevate human consciousness, that help us to become elevated, to become greater, even as a collective. And I'm hearing that it's really important for us to talk about them and to share them and to share those experiences and to explore how we are growing, how we become better, and some of the knowledge learned. And then it's also important for us to search out practices and wisdom that really resonates with us. Don't become complacent. It's easy for us to kind of follow along with the norm, and this is how it's done. This is how everybody does it. This is the easiest way. What I'm hearing is to kind of challenge ourselves to find the teachings that resonate with us, to try and find the practices that resonate with us. I think my granddaughter's little friends, I think, are ringing the doorbell wanting to come and play. And so I just lost my train of thought for a second, but find the thing. So we just tap in. What was I saying? That's the other problem. When I'm channeling messages, sometimes I'm not fully listening. They're being very busy. That's okay. I'm gonna let them just do what they need to do. And my granddaughter's not here right now. All right, totally lost my train of thought. Okay, I got it back. Okay. So the idea, yes, that it's important to share. In fact, I'm hearing that there's a number of you here that actually have wisdom, knowledge, teachings that you're questioning whether you should be sharing, whether it's like, people are going to think you're weird or whatever. And I'm hearing that it's actually important to make some of these things more mainstream, because what has been mainstream for a long time isn't always the most healthy thing. And so it's time for us to kind of make some of these healthier, higher vibrational thinking more more mainstream, more aware. I'm just asking if there's any like specific teachings to gravitate towards. What I'm hearing, the only thing that I'm hearing is to just be aware of authenticity, to just be aware of where the messaging comes from. Feel how it resonates in your body. And if it, so for me, when something is for me to learn from, it resonates for me from my upper right side, and I can feel it through my body as like light and love. There's other teachings that, people have shared, and like, this is what I do. And when it comes at me from this side, it's not for me. That doesn't mean it's not a good teaching. It doesn't mean that it's not fabulous for them. It just means it doesn't resonate for me. And so learn what resonates for you in your own body. What's right for you and what's not. Because not everything is for everybody, right? But I am hearing quite loudly that there's a number of you here specifically. If you feel like I'm talking to you right now, I am. There's a number of you here specifically that are feeling like you're kind of ready to start sharing your gifts more and your knowledge more and whatnot, and you're feeling maybe a bit insecure about it or unsure about it. I'm hearing that, yeah, it's actually a good time to start sharing. I know I've become much more public about my gift. Working in the school system, I kind of kept what I do with this and my education a little separate. And now I don't. I've had many conversations with young teachers, talking about their path forward. And I'll tell them, this is what I'm hearing for you, and I'll explain I have a gift that I can do this. And they're like, oh my God, you're so right. When I hear messaging for specific people, when I'm talking to them and it comes out and they're like, you should tell them this, pretty rare have I been off the mark. So I trust it, although I still always feel a little insecure, I always feel a little insecure. Even like every time I sit down to do a reading for somebody, very rarely have I been wrong. In fact, I've only had one, maybe two readings that one was just weird, but they thought it was great. It was strange for me. And then another one, she didn't resonate with it, but every time I tapped in to ask again, I kept hearing the same messaging, the same answers. And so I kind of wonder if maybe she just wasn't aware. I don't know. But other than that, I have to trust. And so what I'm hearing is trust. Trust your own ability. Trust your own gifts. We are all made of way more stuff than what meets the eye. We're not just our skin suits. We are lifetimes of wisdom. We are tapped into that divine collective consciousness. We're tapped into epigenetics and ancestral knowledge. We are tapped into, I just heard the ether. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but the ether. We are tapped into the ether, where we are able to connect to information and wisdom as we need it. And so if you're feeling the urge like, hey, I know this and I want to share this, it's probably something that needs to be shared. All right, let me just check the chat for a second. I really resonate with that. I have a lot to share, but I get shy of putting myself out there. Oh, Raquel, do it. Put yourself out there, my dear. That messaging is 100% for you. They do. Sorry, Melinda. They love it. Are you talking about my new teachers, my baby teachers? I call them. They're brand new teachers. They do. They appreciate when I tap in for them most of the time. Something gets a little bit weird, if I'm honest. How do you know that? And I was like, because you're telling me that, but I didn't say anything. But your soul is telling me, But you can't deny things. And this is where I find my readings get a bit mystical, is because I don't know you necessarily, and I don't know the person. I don't know your ins and outs. But when your soul's telling me something and it's coming out of my mouth, it's stuff you already know. It's already, like, most of the time, it's like, oh, that's so validating. That's what I need to hear because that's what I was thinking. Well, that is what you're thinking, because it's what I'm hearing is what you're actually, your deeper part is telling you. So it's more validating. Sometimes it's hard when when people in your life are very atheistic. 100%, Vicky, it is tricky, but this is part of that messaging, is that energetic vibe, this thing this we're being called to help elevate human consciousness. Maybe they just need the right experience. Hi, Binks. Binks is coming to say hi. Maybe they just need the right experience to be able to help them understand things. I've been very blessed in that my life, I've had so many things that can't really be explained by normal means, that I have no choice but to believe in some of the mystical, esoteric, high banks, types of things like that, because there's no way to explain it otherwise, So I feel very fortunate of that. And sometimes maybe that's what people need, is just to have that little experience, that little shake up, and then they're like, oh wait, maybe there is more to things than meets the eye. Banks has decided to come and say hi. Kelly, I'm in a family of logical, practical, non-spiritual individuals that have a difficult time being and showing my authentic self. It's interesting. My sister and I are, you couldn't get more opposite people. My sister is absolutely like what they'd call type A, super logical, super like everything, We never got along as kids because I was always doing like weird stuff. Yes, this is Binks. So, I was always doing weird stuff, and my sister just didn't get it. And I thought she was so, by the book and methodical, that I didn't get it. Now we really value each other, because when she needs intuitive wisdom, she'll ask me and be like, what does your gut say? What do you feel about this? Do you have any wisdom on this? Whatever. And when I need logical stuff, and I'm like, hey, does this make logical sense? She's my person. So, it's about valuing yourself, Kelly. In fact, I'm actually going to start jumping into individual readings here right away. But Kelly, what I'm hearing for you is exactly like, I don't know what the wording that came to me was. I'm just asking, reflective practice, reflective. That's one of the things that is important for you, is being aware that you don't need to worry as much about what you think other people perceive you as. That's something that holds you back a little bit, and to just be your true authentic self, because you are here in this time and in this capacity to be your true authentic self. And don't worry too much about what other people think. That reflective mirroring. All right, I'm going to move into thanks, you're making it hard for me to write. I'm going to move into individuals here. So I'm just going to tap in. So I've got Jem, Melinda, Carolina, Swana, Dermy. Oh, hi, thanks. Okay. Maggie, Jamie, and Angie so far. Oh, you're going to eat my earrings. Thanks. Why are you being such a pain? What do you want? All right. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody. So, Jem, Melinda, Carolina, Solana, Derny, Kay, Maggie, Jamie, Angie, Rish, if I'm saying these right, Ursula, I love the name Ursula. You have 2 black cats. All up in your face, I know. They are... Stop eating my ear. What's with you? All right. Yes, Binks is a beautiful boy. I think some of you might know my story about Binks and that I really wasn't planning on getting a cat. And my friend was like, do you want a cat? Do you want a cat? Do you want a cat? I have up to Deepa, by the way, so I'm going to stop there. And if there's time, I can do more, but we'll stop there because sometimes I can't get to everybody. But yes, my friend was like, do you want a cat? Do you want a cat? Do you want a cat? And I kept saying, no, 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 because I lost my dog about a year ago and I just wasn't ready for another pet. And she invited us over for lunch. And of course, Aurora, my granddaughter, absolutely loved Binks and Binks loved her. And it was like a match made in heaven. But I was still kind of second guessing and deciding whether I really actually wanted a cat. And then I was driving to go get the cat tree and the litter box and all those things. And second guessing and going, you know, I should just tell them I don't need a cat right now. And there was a license plate in front of my car that said Black Cat. And I took a picture of it because I was like, no one would believe this. So I took that as a sign. And yes, as much as he can be kind of a needy cat, he's pretty wonderful. So this is Binks. He's here to give you love. Lots and lots of love, whether you want it or not. All right, let me tap in. Jem, you know what? Hold on, I was going to say I'm going to skip you because I already did the little mini readings. One of the things that I do, one of the services that I offer is I do little like weekly, what I call weekly wisdoms for people. And I did one for Jem, but I'm just checking in if there's messaging that has to happen for everybody. Like if there's other people that need to hear your wisdom. Okay, yeah, actually I do. Okay, for sure Binks is helping out with messaging. I think he's my protector, actually, because my dog used to be my protector. Anytime I did readings, she was right there, and I think she channeled away any spirit that wasn't for me. Any energy that wasn't for me, she'd channel away. I think Binks does the same thing. So maybe there's some stuff hanging around here that's just not for us, and Binks is clearing it away for us. Yes, okay, thanks, Binks. All right. Jem, what I'm hearing for you and the reason why I'm sharing